Thank you so much for being here today. If you don't know me, my name is Shoshana Chaim. I have been in the health and wellness world in some form or another for the last 25 years. I was also a school teacher. I taught kindergarten, I taught phys ed, and I've had many businesses along the way. Just over 9 years ago, I found myself in a very dreadful place. I had left teaching to open up a health business. I had been getting my clients some amazing results. I had an award-winning podcast on health, fitness, and lifestyle. And I found myself in a place where I was exhausted all the time. I had severe discomfort on one side of my body. My brain was working less and less every day, and I wasn't able to take care of my children. I had some hormonal issues going on. And despite having so many other health practitioners at my fingertips, despite everything that I had taught and helped my clients with, I wasn't able to make progress. In a few months after kind of giving up hope, I found and learned about redox signaling molecules and the fact that they were 100% native, bioidentical to the body, that Olympic athletes were allowed to use them, and that there was zero toxicity. And I saw people stand up in front of me and tell me stories about how their lives had changed from literally head to toe, hair to plantar fasciitis, and everything in between, every other system, every other hormone system, every other illness that I kind of heard of in some kind of category. I had heard how their bodies had changed when they were able to increase this molecule that our body makes on its own. And that got me very interested. 5 weeks later, I found myself in a place where I had energy, where I was getting up on time to take my children to school, where I wanted to work again. I was blogging, I was dancing while I was cooking, and life really did continue to get better and better from there. From there, as I got some clients back, I started to share this with them because they had hit plateaus doing all the things that they knew, doing all the things that I was teaching, and they weren't able to make any more progress for themselves or for a family member. And I started to see cysts that had been followed for 10 years disappearing, children who were not speaking to their parents, looking at them in the eyes, following instructions, all of a sudden started doing so. People who hadn't had their periods for years, all of a sudden were having better fertility health, and things just continue to get better for them as well. And that's when I decided to really shift the kind of education that I was doing into educating on these redox signaling molecules. So thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for taking the time to learn. If we don't learn, we won't know. And we always do the best that we can do in the situations that we're in. And I hope that today proves to be informative for you. This is a family. People using redox signaling molecules, whether it's for athletics, anti-aging, any kind of illness, any kind of symptom, or just to be able to keep the quality of life that they have and live the best that they can. That's absolutely what this is. And we become a family, a community that help and support each other. These are my three guys here, my husband and my two kids. And couple of years before that, there is no way that I would have been able to go zip lining with all of them. So we are going to learn how to power our body's potential today. Aging is inevitable. Our skin will change, our bodies will change. But how do we keep living and feeling like this man as we age? He feels and looks as young as these guys, maybe not on the outside, but definitely on the inside. So that's what I want to talk about today. There's something called allostatic load, and I don't want you to get caught up in what those words are, but think of it as toxic load. Our body has a toxic load, and that's a breaking point. So if we are like this jug of water, every time there's stress, environmental toxins, genetics, things that we're exposed to, sprays on our food, car accidents, trauma, all of that is making this jug get higher and higher. And when we're young, we're pretty good at managing how much water's in that jug. That spout opens at the bottom and lets out the toxicity, so it doesn't quite go to the very top. But as we age, that spout starts to churn and starts to get tighter, and the water flow starts to get slower and slower. But the stress the environmental toxins, everything we're exposed to, that speeds up and we get into a lot of trouble. So over time, it's the body's trying to keep us in a very in a very in a place where we can survive. So it is changing where our ideal top of this stress is to try to deal with things. And our body gets used to being sicker and sicker and sicker. And as we start to acclimate to these new levels of stress, we get into chronic stress or chronic imbalance in certain areas of the body. And eventually that creates an illness. It affects every system, our hormones, our inflammation, our brain health. All of that can get out of balance. So this continuous stress creates damage on our cells. It creates increased aging and weakness from our body, from the inside out and from the outside in. So how do we address that? We need to get down to the root of the cell. It's not about making systems work better. That's not going to change our allostatic load, our toxicity load. That's just going to help it kind of push that water down a little bit more so it doesn't quite get to the top or help us deal with the overflow. But when we could fix the cells, we are actually able to open that spout back up so that we can maintain more balance, so that we can get rid of more toxicity, so that we could deal with stress, emotional, oxidative stress as we go. Every single cell in our body is filled with salt and water. We know that our bodies are about 70% water, and we know that salt is important. In our cells, we also have a mitochondria. That mitochondria makes ATP or energy. It also makes redox signaling molecules. If our cells cannot signal, we cannot reduce inflammation. We cannot balance hormones. We cannot strengthen our immune system. We cannot improve our gut health, our brain health. We cannot fight virus or bacteria. We need signaling to take place for the body to bring the proper healing to the proper place and take it away when it's done. These redox signaling molecules are made in the mitochondria at the same time that we're making ATP. They play a lot of roles, like I just mentioned, and the biggest role is to detect, repair, and replace damaged cells. They are responsible for our immune system, cardiovascular system, hormonal systems, gut health, inflammatory response, brain health, the ability to create new tissues, cartilage, collagen, stem cells, protect our DNA, create energy, balance the body system, attack bacteria and viruses, prevent bacteria and viruses from overcoming the body, controls the on-off switches for our genetic pathways. The body is basically creating its own digestive enzymes when our redox is working at its fullest potential. And when something is wrong in the body, it is those redox messengers, those redox signaling molecules that send the signal, send the healing, and then turn it off when it's ready to turn off. It is super important. It is also responsible for balanced glutathione production in the body. And we know glutathione as our major antioxidant. When you think of antioxidants, you probably think of spinach or blueberries. Those are important, but when our body can make its own, we can use it at a much different level. These redox signaling molecules have been known about since about the early 1920s. The majority of the studies and understanding of it has taken place after 1998, after a Nobel Prize was given for the understanding and for the not quite the discovery, but for the understanding of what redox molecules were actually doing in the body. There's over 1,500 books on redox biochemistry, and there's over 75,000 redox signaling peer-reviewed studies in scientific and medical journals. So look at this little circle here. If you remember the cell that I showed you just a few minutes ago, there was a pink outline to that cell. Let me see if I could find it. There was a pink outline to that cell. Vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, juices, essential oils, sometimes even CBD, can help that outside ring of the cell stay more thick, stay more strong, and help less of our intercellular fluid, that salt water, seep out of our cells. But on average, we are losing 10% of that intercellular fluid every 10 years. So by the time we are 50, 60, 70 years old, we're significantly depleted. Nothing that's listed here can help refill those cells. They could help systems work better, again, by just jacking them up, but it can't repair them. These redox signaling molecules are not made from vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, juices, oils, or CBDs. They are actually identical, bioidentical to what's inside of our cells. These things can be useful and helpful, as can food. But think of something like vitamin C or vitamin D. Have you heard of taking too much vitamin C or too much vitamin D and having poisoning there? Yes. Every single pharmaceutical and many, many supplements have something that is called an LD50. L stands for lethal, D stands for dose. Lethal dose 50. We know that many of these things that we see and sometimes take in too much quantity can be harmful for the body. Redox signaling molecules, we can never make, we can never have too many for the body. The body will regulate that at all times. So if we are making our own digestive enzymes, if we are making our own glutathione, if we are making our own hormones, the body is only going to make what is the right amount for your particular body. It will never create more. So I want you to keep that in mind. There are universities and biotech companies across the world that are making these redox signaling molecules. It's not as popular, it's not as known as some of these other things I just showed you, but it is being done. Every single company except for one, within 10 minutes of those redox molecules being made, turns back into salt water. So whoever is taking it for studies or for therapy, it needs to be taken within 10 minutes of it being made, which means they need to live very close by, or they need to go there and stay there for a short amount of time. There is one company that has been able to take pristine salt water, the same amount that's found within your cells, break that salt water down into atoms, put it back together in a special, unique way, and create not just redox molecules like these other companies and universities, but stabilized redox signaling molecules. That means it could be put into that blue bottle, it could be shipped and delivered to somebody's house so that they could take it there. I did mention that this is salt water. I don't want you to be thrown off by salt. Salt is an important conductor within the body, but in the smallest dose of the redox molecules that somebody would take, or maybe even an average dose, it's the size of one really large carrot or half a slice of hamburger bun or one slice of bread. So it's really not that much. Half a can of Campbell's soup really outdoes the amount of sodium that is in this bottle. It's also not absorbed the same way into the body and doesn't process the same way in the body. So somebody who might need to be on a salt-restricted diet can really also benefit from these redox molecules in their body, because what is it doing? Those molecules are not salt anymore. They are these redox molecules. They are signaling and bringing the proper healing to the proper place. When you eat a cake that just came out of the oven, you don't say, oh, that tastes like egg and flour. That's disgusting. It tastes good like cake. When this comes out of the process, the ASEA Redox molecules to your cells are the best thing in the world. And ASEA has partnered with world-class third-party independent labs and institutes for clinical trials, testing, and toxicity testing as well. Some very, very well-known ones. It took over 20 years and right now there's 7 international patents. There's over 1,000 trade secrets to be able to have these stable molecules shipped and delivered to your home. They've also been transformed. An extra 5 years it took to transform them into a gel so that we can target on the body where to put it. And more recently, there's the Redox Gold, this blue tube of gel that has taken out just one strain of what these 2 bottles can do and concentrate on glutathione production, meaning that we can reduce inflammation, we can reduce pain in the body, and we can increase recovery. And I will talk more about those 2 gels a little bit later. By drinking the redox molecules, it goes in untargeted. It helps people in various ways. For example, here's me in the top left corner with some severe acne and inflammation in my face. Just a couple of months later, 8 months later, all of the acne is gone, as well as the scarring, as well as the damage, discoloration, and all of the inflammation. My gut had healed as well. Whether it's a skin problem that you've had for 10 years, or whether it's an autoimmune skin issue that you've had, drinking the liquid and using the white Renew 28 gel can have very, very profound effects. Whether there's a growth growing on your body and you need to address it in that way, on the bottom left, or whether somebody's been through surgery and they want to recover. This woman put the Renew 28 on one side and not the other. Both scars were exactly the same size. It's very clear which one had the redox molecules because you could barely see a scar there. And she made more progress in the 3 months on the redox than she had in the 6 months in therapy before. She could not use her arm to even do up a button or put on a bra or get her son dressed for school. And also the inflammation going down in the body is very, very important too, especially when that inflammation needs to come down for healing. So within 48 hours, I was able to bring my son's broken ankle down like that. This is for hair growth. This is great for increasing blood flow and helping different areas of the body with blood flow, for different immune issues, fighting your body in the middle of the night, for gum growth. Why am I mentioning so many different things? Because what we're doing is we're fixing cells and we're allowing more communication between the cells. We are refilling cells and allowing communication so that the body can heal itself. Guess what? Your body knows how. But there's been too much toxic load happening, and it's been concentrating in too many areas, and it's been scattered, and it doesn't have enough healing to go around. So something gives out, which is probably why you're on this call today, because there's something that has been bothering you that you have not been able to address. When your cells are healthy, your body can address it. This is Justina in the bottom left corner. I love telling why Justina started using the redox molecules. There was nothing wrong with her, and she wanted to keep it that way. She wanted to supboard, she wanted to kayak, she wanted to hike, she wanted to be out with the dogs, she wanted to enjoy life, she wanted to stay as young as possible, as long as possible. And she has had amazing results that she was never expecting. And the only reason she started was to stay healthy. And it doesn't just impact one person, it impacts a whole family. If you look down here in the bottom left corner, and I always want to cry when I tell the story of this family, the parents were not communicating. The mother had huge hormonal issues, huge mental health issues. The children were suffering because of it. She couldn't go on a date with her husband without crying the whole entire time, and he couldn't understand why she was crying. When she was finally able to balance her hormones, when her mental health had improved, she was able to communicate better. She was able to have fun with her children, go out and have a good time with her husband. And I do believe that their marriage was saved because of it. Guess what? We are animals. Animals so our pets will make the same redox molecules as we will. Therefore, we can use it for their skin issues, for their eye issues, for their growths that they have in their body, whether they're poisonous or not. There's a lot of different applications that we can do. So, like I said, these cells are bioidentical. They are identical to what is inside of our body. We are used to taking in nutrients. We're used to taking in supplements, and the body needing to digest it, break it down, use the energy system, take from it what it needs, detox what it doesn't need out. And we're used to having to wait for it to process and actually being used. Well, these are, because they are bioidentical, they are tiny, high energy signaling molecules that pass through the cell membrane, and they have a passive absorption. We don't use any energy to absorb. They enter your cells and they turn on the cells, and those neighboring cells turn on the other cells. So they're able to communicate with each other throughout the body, and this contributes to our resilience to stress and overall wellness. I'm not going to get too far into things, but I just want to do a little bit of validation here. Tourette Laboratories is the biotesting lab that did testing for ancestry.com at the time that ASEA used them for a study. They did an 8-week study, and it was testing these 5 different areas. Just give me a thumbs up in your camera if you know somebody who needs help with hormone modulation, or the immune system, or the inflammatory system, or cardiovascular health, or digestion. You guys ran out of thumbs, right? We know somebody probably in every category. In this 8-week study, every single person showed a 21 to 31% increase in all 5 of these areas. Can you tell us how these redox molecules helped your inflammatory system, Brett?
Yeah, thanks, Shoshana. My main complaint when I started on ASEA was for an injury to my back, 1983 playing hockey. It never healed, and I believe I tried everything from that day to get relief in some way. The only thing I didn't do was surgery at that point. I tried everything else, every supplement, every modality, every chiropractor, whatever it was, until I re-injured my back in 2009. Now I'm at the surgeon's office, and the surgeon said he could not help me. So I didn't have any options. 2017, I'm introduced to Redox, and I just took a chance and I started drinking it. I was told to drink, X amount for so many months. 5-month mark, after drinking, starting on 8 ounces a day, when everything just shifted and changed. So eight and a
Amazing.
half years ago, all just nothing but pain every day, and I haven't had pain in that amount of time. So yeah, it's done wonders.
Thank you so much for sharing. Yes, we do have different amounts that we like different people to drink based on their age, their weight, what other health issues have going on, and what their goals are. Thank you for sharing. Anna Vexler, do you mind unmuting yourself and sharing how your hormones changed in just 2 sentences for us?
Okay. We as a team decided in 2019, we decided to increase the dosage for 2 weeks to 16 ounces. And what I realized that I started to lose weight, and as well as when I saw endocrinologist, he sees that my test results has improved. So with his approval, I stopped taking the pills and just concentrated on ASEA because healthy cells are healthy life.
Exactly. And now, are there thyroid medications in your life?
No.
No. Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing. We do see hormones are more than just women hormones. It's thyroid, it's blood sugar levels, right? Our pancreas working. This is hormones as well. Great. Nanette, I'm going to put you on the spot. Are you on the call? Do you mind unmuting yourself? I think I saw her pop in, but I can't see everyone.
Hi there.
Hi there. Nanette, in just 2 sentences, can you share what the redox molecules have done for you and your immune system?
Oh my goodness. For me, the redox molecules have helped to get rid of rogue cells that were diagnosed in both of my breasts. And so, in simple words, I thank God I got my life back.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for
Just
sharing.
after, you're welcome. In just 2.5 months, no rogue cells in either of my breasts. So it's a real blessing to have ASEA Redox.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for sharing. No poisonous medications from the doctors needed. So that is beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. I'll share Mariana's story down here, her digestive health. She was a mom of 3, a nurse, and every red light that she stopped at, she was trying to think ahead of where the next washroom was because of her autoimmune issue that she had in the gut and digestion. It would bother her so much that she never knew when she was going to have to stop for the washroom. The medications that they had put her on was causing severe agony throughout her body as well. So coming onto the redox molecules, having the gut balance out, reducing the inflammation, strengthening the immune system, really made a huge difference for her. And the last one here is cardiovascular health. And I like talking about Dr. Phillips' story. He was an ER doctor. His wife told him about the redox molecules. And, it's surprising because I don't know if you know this, but you're lucky if your doctor has even 1 hour of nutritional studies when they're in med school. So they don't learn about every single thing. Doctors now are learning about redox molecules. Biochemists are learning about redox molecules. But back in the 80s, 90s, they were not. So Dr. Phillips, his diet was horrible. He had long hours. He changed nothing else. He wanted to see what would happen in 4 months. His total cholesterol went from 182 to 121. His good cholesterol went from 41 to 44, triglycerides 281 to 78, LDL, bad cholesterol, 101 to 61. And after taking the supplements for just a couple of weeks, he felt more alert, more flexible. And that's exactly what we want from our doctors in the hospital. He was amazed with the results, and he would have been even more amazed if anybody in clinic can get this with statins. Think about that. And like I mentioned at the beginning, no toxicity, no side effects. We do have studies, many studies that show the complexity of how redox changes the body. So this is a 12-week study that was investigating oxidative stress on the cardiovascular system. So we see lots of increase in markers here as well. There's an athletic advantage as well. We have a lot of elite athletes, a lot of Olympic athletes on here. When I first heard that mice ran 29% further to exhaustion, they burnt more fat as fuel and wanted to get back on the treadmill as quickly as possible. That's what I wanted for me. I had been sleeping 16 hours a day. I wanted to be working out. I wanted to be working. I wanted to be taking care of my kids. I wanted to be on that hamster wheel. So Dr. Neiman at the North Carolina Institute, at the Appalachian University, saw significant change in 53 metabolites. That means that you're burning more fat as energy. You're preserving amino acids, proteins. You're increasing vitamin C levels as you're exercising. 12% increase in VO2 max. When you go for a walk with a friend, at some point you get out of breath and you can't really talk to them anymore as you're walking, especially if you're going uphill. It increased your ability to breathe and talk through exercise 12%. Burning ATP 6 to 8% more effectively. That is using our energy system. And it's not just the athletes that are burning ATP 6 to 8% more effectively. It's us too when we're not exercising as well, although I'm sure we're all exercising here. Don't worry about that. 30% increase of the sparing muscle glycogen, which means we're having less lactic acid buildup, less of that pain in the calves as we start to work out and run. It's WADA certified, World Anti-Doping Agency, no banned substances, and it's Olympic approved. Here's where we started to see significant changes in glutathione and NFR2. As we studied EGR1, we saw all of these pathways have increased. So ovarian health, thyroid health, spinal cord health. What else is here? Serotonin receptors. And we saw that we could actually increase the usage of our own glutathione in our body up to 800% more, which had a huge effect on cardiovascular health as well. When we look at glutathione, these are the major illnesses that are affected by low glutathione. These are also, non-coincidentally, some of the major illnesses that are affected by low redox signaling molecules, the body's inability to detect damage throughout the body, signal that there's damage, send the repair, and turn it off when it needs to be turned off. As soon as those studies started to come out, universities got wind, and universities from all over the world started to want to do studies with us. So a couple of years ago, they chose 2 universities, University of Bath in the UK and Western Sydney University in Australia. One of them did the blue bottle of ASEA. One of them did that white bottle tube of the Redox Renew 28 gel. And they saw that glutathione production went up in the body 40% with the Renew 28, but in damaged cells, it went up 60%. And at Western, they saw that the glutathione really improved by drinking the bottles as well. But here's the thing. The body is creating those glutathione on its own. It is not being over-absorbed from other synthetic supplements. So the body can use it directly in the nucleus. It could have a bigger impact, and the body will never allow itself to produce more glutathione than it needs to. Too much glutathione in the body can create cancer growth. So if we're taking a glutathione supplement, it cannot regulate and say, oh, I've taken too much, don't absorb anymore. No, it's still going to absorb. There is no glutathione in that blue bottle. There is no glutathione in that Renew 28. That glutathione is being made by the body, and the body will never create more than it needs to be at its healthy balance, because these redox molecules create balance in all the areas of the body, head to toe. Let's talk about the Renew 28 for just a moment. It's water and sodium chloride, just like the bottle that we drink, but it's got a clay and a stabilizer in there. It's preservative-free, hypoallergenic. It does not clog pores. It's paraben and paraffin-free. You just shake it and you apply it to any part of the body. As you could see here on the right-hand side, it does great for wrinkles, elasticity, texture, smoothness, moisture. We're looking at anywhere from 11% to 23% increase in our beauty. Who doesn't want that, right? Here are some pictures showing how it's changed different parts of the body. This is Rosie. Rosie started drinking the redox molecules when she was 84, right there in the first picture. No, I haven't posted those pictures backwards. She was drinking 8 ounces a day and putting Renew 28 on her face twice a day. And you could tell that she didn't just change on the outside, but that her energy was higher, that she looked so much healthier, had so much more color in her face. The redox molecules really did help improve her quality of life. It can help take away a lot of toxic products that you are using in your house as well. And we do have another presentation where we go into that in more detail. So be sure to ask the person that invited you here today to learn more about that. We use the Renew 28 for reflexology as well, to really help stimulate certain parts of the body. We used to use, and some still do, the Renew 28 to help with discomfort in the body by applying it 3 times in 5 minutes. But as I mentioned, we now have the Redox Gold. It contains redox signaling molecules infused with molecular gold to target specific cellular communications that lead to enhanced recovery and relief. So while the Renew 28 can do so many things, we went in one little alley and we upped our ante by adding the Redox Gold, which is a catalyst for getting it into the body faster, so that we can reduce discomfort and increase recovery. We saw that the glutathione levels increased in a healthy cell up to 70%, but in a compromised cell, 280%. And that is why we were able to get such amazing thermographic testing, where 100% of our human specimens went from this red, pink body parts, which is pain and heat, to the greens and the blues, which is coolness, flexibility, no tightness of cells. And they were able to say with their words that they did feel different as well. And that was an amazing, amazing test. So here we are back to our toxic load. Stress, environment, toxins, our age slows down the ability for the spout to let out all of that toxicity and brings us closer to our toxic load. There is an Aspen study that was done recently, and we have another white paper coming out very soon. 30 participants over 16 weeks, ages 21 to 55, that were drinking 8 ounces of the Redox daily. These were healthy young adults. What we saw is that we saw a 116% increase in our body's immune system's ability to fight infection, which means that we're building stronger, faster defense. But these, what am I trying to say? These resources for fighting and helping the immune system were not yet labeled to any particular job. Once our body is under the stress, they turn into what we need to fight that and help that. And that's when they get their job. And that's what's even more outstanding by it. What we saw is that 11.9% increase to be able to fight against parasites and allergies. That supports cleaner, more balanced immune system response and reactivity. Our IL-1B, what we saw is that that increased 16% after 60 days, but 89% after 120 days, after the full 16 weeks. And that helps the body to respond quickly to injury. And the IL-6 went up 2.6% after 60 days and 11.5% after 120 days. And that might not seem as significant, but it's much harder to move that marker. And that protects the body against when it needs high inflammatory response, especially with the heart and things like myocardia that we have seen a lot of people experiencing, especially in the last 5 years. Read between the lines. So that is absolutely amazing. These are bioidentical molecules that empower the body to safely and naturally allow the body to heal. There's nothing added. Everything is activated in your body when you take these, every single cell. The higher the dose, the more we can accelerate getting these effects and help the body to function better. But it doesn't happen overnight. We need to be patient, and the person who's helping you with this will explain more about that. We do have some other products. We have the Renew 28. We have the Redox Gold that I talked about and the blue Redox molecule bottle. We do have a clay mask. It's bentonite clay that contains active redox signaling molecules. As the negative charge in the clay pulls out the positive charge of the dirt in our face, that cleaning creates a little bit of inflammation, which can create aging despite clay masks helping us to look younger. Because those redox molecules are in there, it puts out that fire, that inflammation immediately. We don't just use it for our face to look beautiful. We can use it for different things that are growing on the body that shouldn't be there, that need to be pulled out as well. We have a beautiful gluten-free, animal-free, sensitive skin facial kit that most of us love as well. We do have in the top right corner a probiotic, a full whole food micronutrient supplement. We have an omega as well as Life Max, which is a really nice blend of cantaloupe seeds and lion's mane, really to help with inflammation, with brain health, with eye health as well. And then we do have our 4 nutraceuticals that we can add to our water bottles. And here I have the mood that helps you feel nice and calm when things are getting a little bit too much, or if you want to have a really nice sleep, or even if you're feeling a little sad. Our energy is absolutely amazing. There's adaptogens in there so that you're not getting that regular jitters that you would get from coffee by taking this, but then also that energy, even though it's so much less caffeine than you'd get in coffee, it lasts so much longer and keeps you on point. And then there's the mind that helps you stay focused, helps you stay sharp, helps with your memory, helps you when you're having that really important business day. And then we can mix these in various ways to get different results as well. And then we have our Radiance, which is our plant-based collagen support. It is amino acids that quickly turn into peptides, gelatin, and collagen in your body, skipping having to take in the most disgusting parts of the animal products, your body using energy to break that down into the animal collagen, break it down into the animal gelatin, create peptides and create amino acids to then go and create those amino acids into peptides and work its way back up. So we're skipping those first 4 steps. And within 2 weeks, we see radical change in hair, nails, skin, and many people who have trouble using their hands or certain joints get a lot of relief there as well. We do have a Facebook group. It's called Canadians Fueled by ASEA. If you're not part of it, please ask the person who invited you here today to add you to it. Or if you join on your own, please put their name in the questions. We will not let you in without answering the questions. And you can look it up by pressing that little magnifying glass at the bottom. You can look up various symptoms various stories or various science, really, some of these studies that I talked about so that you can learn more if you'd like. We have another great resource while you wait for your product to come in called realredoxresults.com. It's password protected. You all understand why, right? Yes, I always recommend that you watch this first video first, this dark blue one. It's a 10-minute overview of a lot of the things that we talked about today, but said in a different way so we can understand it differently. And then if you click on some of these buttons here, if you were interested on blood health or blood sugar or cholesterol or spectrum behavior, then it will bring you to the ones that are there. If you go to, I think I'm 162, maybe I'm 163, you'll be able to see my story. What is it, Brett?
You're 158.
Oh, I'm 158, and Nanette is
She's 162, I think.
162, talking about her
Bella's
breast.
159.
Yeah, we have lots of people. We have lots of people on this call with stories there, so you could learn more. All right. Another good tool is discoverredox.com, where you could learn more about ASEA. You could learn more about Redox, the Renew 28 gel, or Redox Gold, and more. And then if you click up here at ASEA Global, see how I pulled that down? It says opportunity. Just click on ASEA Global. It will bring you to this Genesis. And I just want to stop here by saying the people the founders of this company were not looking for a product to go out and bring to market directly to the people. They saw what this biotech company was trying to create. They were going out of business, but they were so close to being the only ones to stabilize these molecules. So they went ahead and they invested in this company. Once these molecules were stabilized, they started giving it to friends and family as they decided what they were going to do next. These friends and family started to get better. Their days were numbered. They had the worst prognoses from their doctors, and they started to have energy back. They started to get better tests, and they started to tell other people because other people started saying, "What are you doing? Why are things going in this direction when they haven't for so long?" By the time they were able to bring this to the pharmaceutical industry to sell it, there were 140 people using the products. The money on the table was huge, but they had to take it away from those 140 people. The founders of this company knew what it was doing for those 140 people and what it would do for millions and millions of people around the world. And the pharmaceutical industry was not willing to bring it to market. They were buying it to bury it. And that did not fit their values. That did not fit their ethos. And that is why they decided to be the ones to bring it to market themselves when they never, never, never expected to do that. And I'm grateful every single day that they did that. Because had they not done that after a year of trying everything that I knew and getting worse and worse and worse and sleeping 16 hours a day, I don't know where I'd be today 8 years later. I don't know where Nanette would be today. I don't know where Brett would be today. I don't know where Anna would be today. I don't want to think about where we would be today. So the fact that somebody shared this with us and told us about it, and we were able to put it into our lifestyle and pay it forward for other people is an absolute blessing. And I'm grateful for that every single day. ASEA is for your health. It's for your fitness. It's for your beauty. It's for your future. But even more so, it's for your heart and your community and being there for the people who you love the most and being able to have your best quality of life. And I think for me, that's absolutely what is most important. I ask that you please share your thoughts and questions with the person who invited you here today, and they will be able to set you up with a complimentary consult to help get the best protocol for you and what you are going through. I thank you so much for being here.